Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Distractions from Halloween. Distractions from Halloween. And this message is one that also addresses the question about Christians wanting to participate in Halloween and Christians who don't want to participate in Halloween. Is this a good thing, bad thing? That sort of question, okay? We're not going to label it as good or bad, but what we are going to do is just look at the facts, and then you can label it any way you want to label it. This Halloween holiday is based on the Celtic feast of Samhain, and I've talked about this in another holiday message in the past. The Druids had believed that on the eve of Samhain, there was this split, if you will, a veil between the demons and, of course, the people, and that the demons around this time were released. And so hence the people dressing up as witches and devils and all sorts of other things. They believed themselves to ward off all the evil spirits if they did that. Okay. I know, twisted. I know, strange. And so stuff like this, unfortunately, carries on, year after year after year, because nobody bothers to really do the research. And so mom did it. So what's wrong with it? Well, mom didn't do any research on it. Well, daddy did it and he was a Christian. Well, just because daddy did it and he was a Christian, though, doesn't make it right. Okay. So what has happened over the years with churches is they have all sorts of events, either the day before or the day of Halloween, to distract people from participating in this holiday. But at the same time, they are encouraging folks to have some fun too. Okay. I have found, though, that when people try to take a bit of something that already has negative connotations attached to it, pagan rituals and so forth, and try to do their own spin on it, it usually isn't as fun, as great, as whatever as they make it out to be. Because for all of that, I might as well just go ahead on and celebrate Halloween, some people reason, okay? But at the same time, though, if you feel pressed to do something to distract your children, grandchildren, or somebody else's children away from the holiday, then that's what you do. Because some children just don't understand when you say no. You have to start training them, though, to understand that no is a good thing. It's in their best interest. But if they're not old enough to truly understand, then you can always do some things to distract them. Yes, we're going to have some fun. Oh, we are? What are we going to do? Well, and then you bring out the movies and you bring out some books that talk about people who don't wear masks, okay? Devilish masks and grotesque looking things, but that these were people who were actually doing good things to help the people, okay? And so this is why some people, rather than celebrate Halloween, they celebrate All Hallows Eve, which was used as a distraction from the Halloween holiday. And for some, they will talk about people of faith, and they will read classics, Christian classics, and they just come up with various ways to just keep their children, grandchildren, and so forth entertained, so that they are not tempted to want to put on masks and do devilish types of things. So there are those that are going to insist on having the Halloween parties and so forth, and I'll tell you in the past, I just declined. The people were aware that I had children, and that's why they were doing it, but I declined. Oh, really? Oh, you're not going? No, I'm not going. Oh, is there something wrong? I mean, it's going to be fun. I'm sure it will be, but we don't celebrate Halloween. Oh, okay. And sometimes I might even throw in a little, but we're about Jesus though. Oh, okay. Well, I am too, they'll say. And then that's when I know where they are in terms of their maturity level. Okay. Because any believer at some point is going to start researching what these holidays mean, and they're not going to want anything to do with them. Okay, because they know that they serve a jealous God. They know that anything that goes against the precepts of God is something that is not right. It's unrighteous. Okay, so there you have it. I hope that those of you all who have been struggling a little bit understand you can create distractions, especially for those little ones who just can't seem to understand, Mommy, why? Okay, so. And even if they're not good with that, well, then we don't celebrate anything whatsoever, you see. We're not going to do anything but sit here in the house and treat this day just like any other day. And that is what I've been doing now for years. They got there one time where years ago I took my first two out because they wanted to see, and I made sure that they got to see the most scariest, ugliest stuff. And one of them was like, I don't want to see any of that no more. The other one was like, okay, well, I still want to do it, but he didn't have my support. And then my other two, they got to experience a Halloween trip one time, and they were both nervous and worried and a little bit fearful. And I said, this is why we don't do these things. Do you like to participate in stuff that makes you feel bad, makes you feel scared and worried? No. Why did that lady jump out with that scary mask? And why did they have all that music on? It was so spooky. Because that's what Halloween is about. I don't want to come out anymore. You see? So sometimes, you got those very stubborn, unruly type of kids that you have to teach them in a way where it doesn't involve spanking them, because that's what it would have led to if they would have kept on with the foolishness. And I didn't want to hear it that night. I had already been a little bit traumatized because this one particular year, the fish had turned upside down and I had never seen a dead fish. And he was going around in circles, and it freaked me out. And then I found out that he was fighting for his last breath, and he had been struggling all that Halloween earlier that day. And then eventually he died. But I was already not in the best mood, and so I really didn't want to be fighting with my kids over the foolishness. So they got their one trip and their one trip only, and we haven't been doing that sort of thing since. So, I don't know if maybe the fish would have still been alive. I don't know, because when God tells you not to do something and then you go ahead and you do it anyway, irregardless of the inconvenience, the upset, and what have you, there's a price to pay. So could God have, kept the fish around? Well, he did until the kids got home, because I had prayed earlier that day, that same Halloween day. I prayed earlier. I said, please, Lord, because I seen that the fish was looking a little bit strange. And I prayed and prayed, and I was crying too. I was really pleading for the fish. I said, please don't let them die without the kids seeing them one more time. And so God's mercy, the fish, he was upright, and then he went back, and that was it. He was done. So strange things have a way of happening, especially if, like I said, if you're not doing what God wants you to do and you're doing what you want to do, when you're participating in things that are based on pagan festivals and so forth. And then you also know that people sacrifice. They do blood sacrifices on Halloween and other days of the year too. So when you mess around with things that the devil's people have a tight grip on, and you're a believer, don't be surprised if strange things happen. Well, that is it. To God be the glory. Please do check the description box of anything that might be of interest. Also, if you haven't subscribed to YouTube NM Enterprise 7, feel free. And if you haven't given, we do welcome donations. Just simply click on the link at the beginning of this audio, and that is it. Well, blessings to you.